The Locked On Podcast Network presents the NHL Trade Deadline.
Ross Levitan from Locked On NHL here. The Philadelphia Flyers, currently third in the Metro Division, have traded Sean Walker, one of their top defensemen, to the Colorado Avalanche in exchange for a first-round pick and center, Ryan Johansen. In the deal, the Flyers also receive a fifth-round draft pick in 2026. With me to break it down is Locked On Flyers co-host Rachel Donner. What is your immediate reaction when you saw this trade?
Yeah, it's it's one of those things where like it was definitely going to happen and then no way is it going to happen. And then Nick Sealer got hurt. So we're like, well, maybe it won't happen because of that. But then it happened anyway. And, there's a Nick Sealer contract extension too. So that's a whole separate topic. But as far as this deal, I think that, the Flyers wanted to put him out on the market. Expiring contract was part of the Ivan Provorov three-way deal with the LA Kings originally, and we knew he was on an expiring contract, but given the way the market was going, it seems like the Flyers knew they were going to have to add a little sweetener into the deal to get a first-round draft pick in return, and sure enough, they did with taking on Joe Hansen, who they immediately waived. So
Does this symbolize to you that the Flyers are not trying to push ahead with a maybe surprise playoff appearance this year?
In some ways, I feel like they're trying to have their cake and eat it too, because I feel like, yes, they want to push forward as far as they can go this season. But Danny Briere and Keith Jones have said ad nauseum, we're in this to plan for the future. And if we have a move that's going to help us in the future, we're going to prioritize that. And so this, absolutely follows that remit that they put forth for how they were going to run this organization. But at the same time, they have this Sealer extension going on, and they have said they're going to try hard and compete. And, it seems like they're going to hold on to Scott Lawton at this point. Although who knows, we still got like a day and change, I guess, to figure that out. But I think that, yeah, this is just a team that wants to do the best it can do this year, but also, is knowing that Matvei Michkov is down the road and has to have a quality team around him.
So a part of this trade, you mentioned more for cap purposes, is Ryan Johansen. Based on his history with Flyers head coach John Tortorella, I'd be surprised if he ends up actually getting into a game. Now, you mentioned he's placed on waivers. Would this be as simple if he's not claimed that he'll be buried in an AHL role?
I would think so. I think that, maybe they would do a contract termination and a buyout, but seems like that's more of an off-season move at this point. So, we'll see what happens with that. But the Torts and Johansson do not like each other, not one bit.
Okay, well, that's something that either will be kicked into the offseason for Danny Briere or we'll maybe see in a subsequent move. Do you think that salary retention could be a play if they do look to swing Johansson somewhere else before the deadline?
They could. Would not shock me if they did. I think that Danny Briere has been a very sneaky guy, I think, in a lot of ways. And I think he is using his supposed naivete to his advantage to some degree, where it's like he's the new kid on the block, and he can play that all shucks, I'm just trying to learn the job, and these are exciting times, but then be ruthless when it comes down to it. And I think this is a good deal. I really think this is the right move for the Flyers. And, I've loved Walker on the Flyers. I think he's done a great job. Huge part of the offense on the PK for the Flyers. So that's going to be something they'll have to take into consideration. But, as the Flyers do have the most penalty kill, shorthanded goals in the league right now. So they may have to make some adjustments there, but worth it, I think.
And we also know that rumors run rampant this time of year. And most recently, Sportsnet's Elliot Friedman said potentially the Flyers could be interested in Jacob Chikrin, who has an extra year left on his deal at 4.6. Not looking specifically at that rumor, but do you think Danny Briere's got a few more trades up his sleeves in the next 40 plus hours?
Would not shock me if he did. I think that anything is possible with them. I think that, they are trying to build for the future. And now with this additional first round pick, the Flyers will have 2 this year and 2 next year. That's like 4 first round picks in the next 2 years is not too shabby. And those are things that he can use in trades the other way. So you never know.
One thing I do know is that pick will be moved. We have to put it in there. There's a condition that it is top 10 protected. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say the Colorado Avalanche draft pick will not be in the top 10. For more from the Colorado side, go check out Locked On Avalanche. And of course, you can go check out Locked On Flyers for more for free on your favorite podcast app. Also available on YouTube. For Rachel Donner, I'm Ross Levitan, and this has been a breaking news edition of the Locked On NHL podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.